Today I want to talk about the power of immersion and how we can use it to take back our life. So first of all, you have to understand what's this thing of the power of immersion. What we have to understand is that there's a concept called the law of attraction. And the concept called law of attraction is basically when you think about certain things and you have strong visual connection and strong feelings attached to them, they're more likely to happen. But the law of attraction actually is deeply flawed in many ways. So the concept I like to think of is the concept of immersion. And it's a way of basically creating a new narrative and bringing ourselves or creating around us a life that fits that narrative. So what most people are actually trying to do is they're trying to be somebody that they're not. They're trying to fake it till they make it. And there's two options in life. You either fake it till you make it, or you can try and become yourself. And have to think in terms of what I like to call or think of as immersion. So what I like to call immersion, to me it seems very logical, because I think a lot of what's being sold out there, courses and so on, is this, YouTube and visualize your life, blah, blah, blah. I think a lot of it's very unrealistic. But let's think of it this way. If you take something that you want and you start immersing yourself in it, where will it bring you? Let's give a very simple example. That's the example I like to think of. Let's say you want to become a film director. Well, you start watching YouTube videos on film direction and film reviews and technical stuff about it. You start reading magazines. You join a forum and you comment in the forum. You do online courses, maybe a Udemy course, maybe a more serious course. Maybe in your city there's some film school, like a small workshop, and you join it. You start making your own little videos and films. You start making friends who do the same thing. As you start to become a filmmaker, at some stage you make a film and you publish it and launch it. Maybe it's a very small film. Maybe it's a film that costs a couple of $1,000s and watched by a few hundred people, but you are now officially a filmmaker. And what a lot of people do at this stage is they'll find it's a hassle and it's not the success they want and it's very hard to get things done and they drop it. But let's say you don't drop it. Let's say you just have this fire in your belly for filmmaking. And you keep at it and keep at it year in, year out, and you hold down your job and do all this sort of stuff. But you work at it and you make another movie and another movie and another movie. And 10, 15 years later, you've made 5 or 6 movies. You're pretty good at making movies. And who knows, maybe even now at this stage, maybe you're working at it professionally, or at least you're making some damn good, interesting movies. Okay? You get the idea. You've created the narrative that you want. So the biggest thing I would say is taking charge of your life, is to create the narrative you want, because you are now living in the narrative. And the narrative was created possibly by your family, the circumstances of their life, what they're living in, and you were just born into that. Or you took up a job after school or college, or you arrived in a new country and you fell into doing things. We all do this. So we all fall into a narrative. Half it we create, half we don't. But we do have volition, we do have free will, we do have the ability to do new things. And we have choice. And choice is what makes human beings very, very unique. Because you, yes, you have the opportunity to make choices about your life. And one of those choices you could have is having a dream and working towards it. So I'm not saying being ridiculous or having, silly ideas and fantasies. But if you can get clear about what you'd like to achieve in your life, what you'd like to do, you can forge passion into power. There's a book by a guy called John T. Hannigan back in the 50s maybe. He was an Irish psychoanalyst, and a book called Forging Passion into Power. So you can forge your passion into power. And I just feel that immersing ourselves bit by bit, that we get more and more into the job role we want, more and more into the relationship we want, more and more into the lifestyle we want, more and more into the person that we want to be. So this is taking the law of attraction and giving attraction, rather than it being some fantasy thing. It's very practical and something that you've probably done before, and something that we do all the time in reality. We do make choices and we do get absorbed in things, and often things that we get really interested in start becoming a more serious part of our life, and it becomes
really interesting and exciting, and you know, maybe a lot of things in our life don't work, but this one aspect does work. This hobby, this interest, this one thing we're good at, this one thing we're like doing. And I'm not saying you should just drop it and make it your living, because like the independent filmmaker, for example, very few of these people can make a living. But you can start doing things you really like. And I can't guarantee it, but there's a pretty good chance, pragmatically speaking, that if you start immersing yourself into life you want to lead, there's a pretty good chance that if you want that to be your life, if you want to have job opportunities in that, if you want to have income in that, a business in that perhaps, pretty good chance that if you're willing to stick it out, and when I mean stick it out, whether it be a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, if you're really ready to go for the long haul in pursuing your passion, there's a good chance you can make a career out of it. And if you can't make a career out of it, at least there's a good chance it can be an integral part of your life and you can find a lot of satisfaction. Because I don't really buy into the theory that everybody on the planet can make their passion a job, and maybe making your passion a job mightn't be the greatest idea. Not whether you have all those acting friends you wanted to have or not, in some way or form, if you keep at it, you will create it in a way that works for you in your life and your circumstances. And that's how you take charge of your life. I hope you found this video useful. Please check out my other videos. If you watch some of them, you kind of get a gist of where we're going on this channel. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.